Hey, what's up? Hello. If you're new here, my name is Kayla and you are watching Kayla's Bookish Vibes. Today's going to today's going to be the start of a weekly vlog. I don't really know what we're getting up to for the week, but I know that today specifically we're going to go get our book signed. I'm trying to like amp myself up to be social because right now all I really want to do is sit in my home and read. I'm working on a video of like a taste test and you guys will see that eventually, but I'm working on that video and I'm really enjoying that book. And it's been a while since I've had this feeling. Well, that's a lie. I've been reading some really good books this month, but the current book that I'm reading, like, I'm really enjoying it and I just want to sit and finish the book, read the book, consume the book. But we need to go get our book signed and my husband is out of town, so that means I would have to take my kids with me in public at a place that's not necessarily made for kids, but it's fine. We're gonna do it. I also need to renew my library card. I tried to get a book on Libby the other day and it told me I couldn't get the book even though it was available because something was wrong with my card, and then I realized that my card is expired, so we need to go renew that and then probably just grab some lunch. But I'm going to try and bring you all along. I don't know how I'm going to do that though without my husband because first of all, I don't like to vlog when I have my kids with me and we're in public because I need to be like aware of my surroundings. I also don't vlog while driving, which is why you always see my husband driving the car. Just call me Miss Daisy at this point because I don't drive when he's here. And you know, anxiety. I just like to be aware of my surroundings whenever I'm out with my kids anyway. I don't know how I'm going to be able to vlog the book signing while also getting my book signed, while also having my children. So we'll see if I'll be able to work this out. I may have to get some footage on my phone. So if the footage is not as like crisp or clear, maybe that's why, because I had to just get it on my phone. Maybe I'll put these kids to work and see if they can hold the phone for me and record. But the books I want to get signed are my copies of Bitter and Sweet and The Thing About Home by Rhonda McKnight. I know you're probably thinking, Kayla, we've been on this journey with you, babe. How did you get this book? They wouldn't tell it to you. And you're right, they wouldn't tell it to me. Somehow my husband got it. My husband got the book. He came home one day and he was like, hey, I need some help getting some stuff out of the car. And in my mind I'm thinking like, that's your job. I don't do manual labor. But so my spidey senses were tingling. I'm like, there's something in that car for me. I thought it was a puppy. I was like, ooh, he brought me a puppy. It wasn't a puppy. It was this beautiful book bouquet that he made for me with Bitter and Sweet in it. He won't tell me how he got the book. He won't tell me how them folks up at the Barnes and Noblier sold him the book, but not me, which is ridiculous. But yeah, I'll put in a little clip of it. He made me a little book bouquet out of this poster board with all of my favorite snacks in it, and he put the book in it, and I thought it was so cute. Although I'm so excited to have this book, what made me most excited about that surprise was him putting the book bouquet together himself with the flowers and whatever. My husband is the worst when it comes to like wrapping anything. Christmas time, he buys the gifts, I wrap the gifts because his wrapping is horrendous. It looks like a 2-year-old did it. So when I was like, did you make this yourself? And he's like, yeah, I did. I was very proud of him. It was just so cute. The presentation is what really flattered me. But I'm also really glad to have this book now. And Miss Rhonda McKnight is in my city today, so we need to go get it signed. And then you know how the weekly vlogs go. I just kind of like pick the camera up as I go throughout my week whenever I'm doing anything bookish. If I need to update you on any books that I'm currently reading, which I will be reading a book in this video. So me and my friend, we're not really friends in real life, but she's my friend in my head. Her name is Nicole. I'm going to put a picture of her channel here. And I'm also going to leave her channel link down below. But we did kind of like a book swap where I recommend a book for her and she recommends a book for me. And then we read it and give our thoughts. I recommended the book for her, Make a Scene by Mimi Grace. I love Mimi Grace. So I was like, okay, she wanted a romance. So I recommended a romance. And she also recommended me a romance called 1 Week in Paradise by Anise Starr. So I'm going to read that book. I have it on my Kindle. I'll get through that this week and we'll talk about it in this vlog. And maybe that'll be the book that I share with you because I'm reading a few books right now. I think I'm reading 3. And the other books are for an actual video. A separate video. So we'll make this video, this weekly vlog, about my book swap with Miss Nicole. I'm excited. Let's go get some books signed and then get back to our home quickly because I just want to be inside, per usual. that heat ain't no joke. We're back. We had a pretty full day. My intentions were just to go get the book signed and come back, but we didn't. We did so much more. I did end up getting the books signed. I'm so excited. It was so nice to meet her. She was really pleasant. And she signed both of them. She also added some goodies to bitter and sweet. There's this little jar thing, which I'm not really sure what I would use this for, but this is in there, a little jar. And then like, I guess a little name tag of some sort. And then a note. I read the note, where I read the top half of the note, and she said, if you're reading this note before you've read the book, don't continue reading the note because there's spoilers included. So that was exciting, and I guess I'll wait until I finish the book to read that. But she did sign this and left a little note. In this book, she put, wishing you all the sweet things your heart can hold. And she signed her name. She also signed The Thing About Home. I really enjoyed this book, y'all. This was such a sweet read. The blurb on the back by Emily March says, Southern writing at its best. The Thing About Home is a warm, atmospheric reminder that home is more than just a physical place. It's family and friends and safety and unconditional love. And that is a good blurb for this book. Sometimes I feel like people leave blurbs, like one-worded blurbs, and I'm just like, you could have done better. That was the perfect blurb for this book. You could tell that that author actually read this book and also enjoyed it. But she did sign this book as well. And in this one, she wrote a little note that says, I pray home settles in your heart and never lets you go. Both of my books signed, really nice. And then I also picked up Middle of the Night by Riley Sager. My plan was to just go in and get those books signed, not to buy any new books. However, my kids, my son, my 6-year-old, he helped record the video of me getting my book signed, and he also took the picture for me and Miss Rhonda McKnight. As a reward for helping mom, he got a little science kit. While we were in line to pay for the science kit, I saw this book. So I used some of my points and got a little bit of money off, so I didn't have to pay for it full price. But I have been wanting to read more by Riley Sager, and I really want to get into this one. And I love the cover. I've loved his last two covers of his books, so got that. Wait, there's more. We also went to the library because I had to renew my library card, and I had to pay a fine in person before I could renew my library card. And while I was there, I picked up this book by Tanana Reeve, Ghost Summer Stories. The perfect time to read this book, first of all, because it's a summer ghost story book. I'm excited. I've been drawn to like books that I would typically say for the fall months. I've been drawn to them now in the summer, so I've just been giving into it and reading what I want to read. I've been reading a lot of fantasy romance, and those books are typically like fall books for me, but I've just been leaning into it and I've been really enjoying it. So when I saw this, I was like, yeah, this is perfect, because I'm kind of like in this eerie mood anyway, so why not? And also Tanana Reeve wrote my favorite book of 2024 so far. We're still only halfway through, but so far my favorite book is The Reformatory, and I really enjoyed her writing style. That was the first book that I have read by her, and I absolutely loved it. I'm obsessed with that book, so I wanted to check out more of her writing. And because this is like multiple stories, I feel like I can get a really good taste, because she won't be telling the same story throughout the whole book. It's like, you know, I get like little different stories, see how she does different things in her writing. I'm excited about that. She does have another book that I want to check out called The Haunted House, or I believe it's called The Haunted House. I'll put a picture of it here. I could be saying the name wrong, the title wrong, but that book is thick. So instead of committing to that book right now, I figured I'd just do the short stories. I think those are all the bookish updates I need to give you guys. Right now I'm about to start One Week in Paradise by Anise Starr. Again, Nicole had recommended this book to me, so I'm going to be checking it out and giving her my thoughts on this book, and I guess I'll share my thoughts with you guys in this video. I'm gonna go cool off for a little bit because we got way overheated, and then I'll get started on this book, and I'll give you guys an update whenever I'm doing something else bookish. Woo, guys, let's chit chat for a second, okay? That's really what these weekly vlogs are. It's just me being able to talk bookish things with you guys and chit chat with you all, vent if you will. I just finished filming a few clips for like different videos. So I filmed a clip for a video that's going to be up eventually, and I also filmed a clip, or like a little sit down moment, for someone else's channel, which I was really excited to film that clip. But I feel like I've just been filming all day, and I'm not liking the feelings that are like emerging. I have another YouTube channel, that I feel like I've just since abandoned because it just became like too much. My channel was focused on like motherhood, faith, and my homeschooling journey with my kids. And although I feel like it was beneficial for a lot of people that did subscribe, it just became a lot for me. After doing the things all day, I didn't want to sit down and then make content about all the things that I just did. So I kind of just like abandoned that channel. And when I started my BookTube channel, it was so fun because it's about my hobby. It's like, these are things that I enjoy doing in my free time, and I could talk about books all day, and it still feels that way. So I think I'm just being very conscious not to allow this channel to get to where that channel got me to. And I think lately, more so on Instagram than over here on BookTube, I've just been feeling like I don't want to fall into that trap of like feeling the need to churn out content. That's kind of why I like also ditched NetGalley, because I realized very quickly, very early on, I don't like when people tell me what to read. I want to read what I want to read when I want to read it. Jocelyn Hernandez voice. Like, that's why I don't do TBRs, because it feels like past me is telling present me what I have to be reading right now. And I don't like that. I don't like it. So on NetGalley, like you get books or ARCs, e-ARCs, advanced reader copies of books, and they want you to read them and have them read and reviewed before the book comes out. Well, what if I don't feel like reading it? But now I feel obligated to read it because I told you that I would. So that's why I don't even like do NetGalley anymore. I just want to enjoy my hobby as a hobby. And while I'm thankful for the growth that I've experienced here on YouTube, more than the amount of subscribers that I have, I'm more grateful for the community that I'm building. Like the ladies who watch my videos and chime in the comments. We have like actual dialogue back and forth. Most of those ladies I have then discovered and found, or they have discovered and found me over on Instagram. And now we're going back and forth in the DMs about books, about the books that we're reading, about the books that we want to read, about the books that we dislike, giving each other recommendations. It's more so about the community. So like when I see my subscriber count go up, in my mind I'm thinking, yes, more bookish babes, more bookish peeps that I can talk to about books. I don't see it as like dollar signs, because I'm not making no money off of it. It's not no real money. Okay? So I just wanted to vent and get that off my chest. I'm not a book influencer. I'm just a bookish babe, here to serve you bookish vibes while I do bookish things. Book update. So I told you that we were going to be reading One Week in Paradise because one of the bookish babes that I found here on the internet, here on BookTube, me and her have been corresponding in the DMs, and we did like a little book swap, a book recommendation swap. I'm not very far in it, but I have thoughts. Our main character is an influencer, and I think that's also what triggered this little rant here, because I was reading this and I was like, oh my god, I don't enjoy books about influencers where that's like their job and that's what they do, and we talk a lot about that. I don't enjoy that. The world of influencing is just not appealing to me. First they love you, then they hate you, then they love you and they hate you again. It's like you can't win, and she's going through that. So she's like a struggling influencer. I believe this is going to be falling in love with your brother's best friend, which I don't mind that trope. It's not my favorite, but I definitely don't mind it. I'm just not liking the influencer talk, and I'm not very far in, so I'm hoping that it's just like at the beginning so that we can get an idea of who she is as I hold this camera and talk to people on the internet. It's all befuddling in my mind right now. But yes, she is an influencer. She's like a hair beauty influencer, and her career is going down the drain because of some video that went viral. We don't really know what the video entailed just yet. I'm sure it's going to be revealed in the book, but she's having a hard time because her follower counts are going down and she's losing sponsorships, I'm assuming. So she's just having a hard time, and I'm not really enjoying reading that part. But our male main character was just introduced, and he is her brother's best friend / business partner. So yeah, that's all I got for this book so far. Again, I'm very early stages. I will give you guys an update when I continue reading, and I will also pick up this camera when I'm doing something else bookish. Alright, y'all. I actually sat down to film another video and I realized I never actually completed this one. So I want to give you guys my final thoughts on the book that we've read this week. which was One Week in Paradise by Anise Starr. Again, this was the book that Nicole recommended to me. I will leave her channel link down below, so if you haven't already, please check her out. Don't forget to subscribe to her channel as well. But I ended up giving this book a 3-star. My final rating was a 3-star. I really want to check out more from this author because I think it was more so a me problem and not a book problem. This book talked a lot about social media and being an influencer, and I don't like those types of books. So other than the influencing aspect, I really did enjoy the author's like writing style. I also enjoyed the romance. It seemed to be like somewhat of a slow burn. This isn't necessarily a long book, so it was only so slow it could be, but it is somewhat of a slow burn. There is a little spice in here, but I can tell that I would really just gel well with this author's writing style. This book just wasn't for me. Our main character is reached out to by a brand, and she goes on an influencing trip to like review like a resort, but it's a couple retreat, so she has to go with a guy, and she just broke up with her boyfriend, so she can't really go with him. It ends up being like a fake dating trope where she's fake dating her brother's best friend, but then they obviously end up having real feelings for each other. I didn't necessarily mind the trope of fake dating or the trope of dating my brother's best friend, which I guess this was a double trope. I didn't really mind that. It was just all the influencing talk. I just didn't want to hear about it. And I know this is a series. I think there are 2 other books in this like interconnected standalone series, so I think I may want to check those out. It just wasn't the book for me. Now, the other book that I have been reading, I haven't finished this book, but I have been reading this book and I have been really enjoying this book, is Ghost Stories by Tanana Review. This I picked up from the library this week. I think I showed you all a clip of us renewing our library card, and I've been loving it. I think Tanana Review is going to be a new favorite author for me. Not just an auto buy, but literally like a favorite author where I have to own all of her works. This is a series of like short stories. They're not necessarily connected at all, but they're just short stories, and they're all horror, I guess. What I think I love about Tanana Review is she doesn't do horror just for the sake of doing horror. Like, her stories are not scary in the traditional sense, I guess, that a horror novel is. Like, there's always a reason that she's writing. Like, she has something more to say in each story, and she's just able to do it in a way that is horrific. Like in The Reformatory by Tanana Review, it was a historical horror. The horror elements were like racism and things that actually happened in history, and it still happened today, but there were also ghosts in it, so I guess that can also be considered like a horrific element to the book. But there was something more. Like, she uses very real things and shows that these things are horrifying, but she does it in a way that is also entertaining, and she's just a great storyteller. So I picked this book up because I've been really into short stories lately, and this weekend all I've been doing is like reading a short story and getting other things done around the house, or like reading one short story and watching a show on Netflix, reading a short story before I go to bed. And I've been working my way through this book, and I'm loving it. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. One thing I noticed, she uses Gracetown, Florida a lot. She's probably from Florida. I have to do a little bit more research on her now that I know that she's like one of my faves, but she uses Gracetown, Florida a lot, which is not a real place because she also used Gracetown, Florida in The Reformatory. I just found that interesting. Like, yeah, I can't really give you like a synopsis of each short story because they're all different. Like, they're all different short stories, but they're all really good. And I just really gel well with her writing style. I love her ability to tell a story, even like in such a short condensed version. And she still does it beautifully. And there's still messages behind these short stories. It's just amazing. Like, I'll do the very first story that I read. The very first story was about a woman who has relocated to Gracetown, Florida to be a teacher, right? She just bought a house there by a lake, and she has been drawn to this lake, and she keeps going swimming in this lake, and she starts to transform because she swims so much. She starts to get gills, and her feet and hands start to become webbed, and she's turning into like this creature of water because she keeps going swimming in this lake. And I guess it's like this known thing that in Gracetown, Florida, the one thing you do not do in the summer is go swimming in the lake. Another aspect of her is she's just got a new teaching job at a school, and she also just bought her house, and her house needs a lot of work. And she says very early on in the story that she is excited about getting to work so that she can use some of the boys there to help redo her home, like redo her porch, to get some painting done, get some work done around the house. And as soon as that's introduced, you kind of get like this Like, why are you asking your students to do work around your home? Anyway, you'll have to read the story. I don't want to ruin it completely, but it is such a good story. I think I could actually read you the insert that she did, because she does like a little small thing after each story where she tells you why she wrote the short story. I guess like what it was written for. The first one is called The Lake. And at the end it says, I wrote this story for Christopher Golden after he invited me to submit to the anthology Monsters Corners, Stories Through Inhuman Eyes. The theme was stories from the monster's point of view. So the monster being our main character, which was a woman. Some of my favorite stories have been written to themes from places I would not have explored otherwise. The first monster that came to mind, a sexual predator. If only real monsters grew webbed feet and gills. And it was only like a few pages, but it packed a punch in those few pages. And I've been really enjoying my time with this book. So I'll be getting some packages here shortly because I have been adding to cart. I think that's all I have for you guys today. This weekly vlog was kind of short, but hopefully it was entertaining all the same. If you made it to the end of today's video, I really appreciate you sticking around to the end. Please leave this emoji to let me know that you stayed till the very end. That really helps my channel out when you guys watch the entire video. Thank you so much for liking, for commenting, subscribing, and sharing my videos with people that you know enjoy bookish content. And I will see you guys in my next video.